Hey guys, Apple's finally come out with their own CI/CD solution. So this is Xcode Cloud. So Xcode Cloud is a continuous integration as well as a continuous deployment tool built right into Xcode itself to help developers create automated workflows as well as deploy to App Store Connect with the press of a button. So in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to go over setting up Xcode Cloud with a blank project, as well as do an App Store deployment workflow. Let's get started. So here I have Xcode open. This is Xcode 14. Right now I'm on macOS Ventura, but you can do this from macOS Monterey as well. We're going to create a new GitHub repository. This is where our code's going to be stored. So let's name this Xcode Cloud sample. I'll just keep it public. Add a README. Let's create a repository. All right, now we have a new repository here. Let's clone this. And now it's cloned. Here's README. Next, we're going to open up Xcode and create a new sample project. So create new project. It's just an app. Let's call this Xcode Cloud sample iOS. Next, put it in our folder here. Create. Awesome. Now we have our Xcode Cloud sample project created here. So what we can do is change the text here. Hello world. Hello Xcode Cloud. So it's a bit different from the stock text we got here. Over here in the navigator, let's go to the last tab. There's local here and cloud. Let's go to cloud. So here we can see that the Xcode Cloud setup process is right here. Let's get started. Select a product. It's this app. Next, let's review the workflow. There's a start condition, an environment, actions, and post actions. So let's edit this workflow. What we want is we want to deploy an app to test flight. So general, you can leave that the same. Environment. To actually deploy builds to test flight, we need to clean. Over here, we can also configure the Xcode version. We want to run the CI/CD in, as well as the macOS version. Branching, we can set up the branch that we want to run the pipe from. We'll just leave it for main for now. Then archive, we want to do App Store build for archive. So put that on App Store. And a post action, we can have a notification here. Save this. Next. Let's grant access to the source code. So we're granting access to the Xcode Cloud sample. I believe for this step as well, we need to make sure that the Xcode itself, we're logged into this GitHub, our GitHub account inside of the Xcode itself. So I could probably show that over my Xcode settings. Accounts. Right now I'm logged into GitHub here. So you can add a new account and add a GitHub account through here. So back to next. Loading the source code repositories. So it found the Xcode Cloud sample. after checking the git config files that are in this folder, since this folder we created from GitHub itself, and we're saving this project inside of this folder locally. Let's go next. Over here we have this queue. So there's no app that's found on App Store Connect with this bundle ID. So what Xcode Cloud does is it sets that all up for us. So we don't have to physically go on App Store Connect to fill everything out and set everything up. That can be automatically done right through here. And that's it. We're all set up now. So let's start a build. So right now we can see all the overview information and details. So there's the start condition, the time it started, queued for, the duration it's taking to build and run, the workflow itself. We're using the default workflow. We can rename this to whatever we want. So if I wanted to edit this workflow, probably name it App Store Connect Deployment Workflow. So we'll get back to this right when it's done building. All right, so it looks like the build has finished here and looks like it failed with one issue. Let's look at what that issue is. So Xcode Cloud sample iOS project does not exist at Xcode Cloud sample iOS, Xcode Cloud sample iOS.xcode proj. So this means that we've not checked our project into GitHub just yet. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can do that through Xcode itself as well as through terminal. So git status. I see it's been modified here, and I still need to push this in. And we have these new files as well. So what I'm going to do is a git add, git commit, and a git push. And again, this can all be done through Xcode itself. So right now I'm showing this through terminal on how to add all these files using GitHub CLI or just git CLI. And if we wanted to do this through Xcode itself, let's go ahead and make a change. So content view, let's see, hello Xcode Cloud again. See that we have that change here in blue. Let's go to source control, commit. Over here, this is the change we want to commit. So I'm going to check that. And then let's say changing hello text as our commit message, and then push to remote. So commit one file and push. So now let's go to the report navigator, and we see that this build has been canceled. So when I pushed through the terminal, it already started a build as we're looking at the main branch, and I committed straight to main. And right here we see build 3 is running because I just committed through Xcode itself. So if you already have a build that's running and you trigger another build, the build that you created, the latest build that you created or you've triggered will run, and any builds that are happening before that will cancel. All right, looks like our build's completed archiving. And we're all green on all the fronts. So right now, the only steps we have through our workflow is just to archive a build. So what we want to do is, now we want to prepare this for test flight in App Store. So external testing requires external testing beta review. So what we're going to do is just internal testing for now. Let's select test flight internal testing only here. Save. And let's rebuild. Now, in the meantime, let's see what's going on in the App Store Connect portal itself. So, I'm going to log into App Store Connect. Let's go to My Apps. And over here, we see Xcode Cloud Sample iOS, which is our project. We see it's all fully set up with the app information, the SKU, and the bundle ID, everything all generated through Xcode, as well as an Apple ID. Over here in test flight, there's some general information that's needed before we do external testing. Right now, we're working on our internal testing upload. Our build is finished processing here and it's failed with 4 issues. Right now you see that there's a build 5 happening over here. So what I did was, all I did was change this hello cloud, change this back to hello Xcode Cloud, as the build was taking some time to create, just to create another parallel build. So after build 5 is done, we'll go over the issues that we're seeing. Alright, looks like build 5 is completed with 4 issues. Let's take a look. So over here, we see that it's missing an icon file. 120 by 120. Icon file 152 by 152. 1024 by 2024. And missing info.plist file, which is the same thing, CF bundle icon name. So I have a few icons here that I'll provide in the description. This is just the App Store icon. I created an XC assets folder as well. Let's download these. Alright, looks like download has been completed. So we have the sample icons folder in the assets.xc assets. So what I'm going to do is open the assets folder. And there's an icon missing there. And let's drag this in here. So that's what was missing, which is why you can see that there are multiple failing builds here. So now we've successfully uploaded to App Store Connect. So I'm going to log into App Store Connect. I have the tab open earlier from before. So I'm going to go to Xcode. I'm going to go to test flight, actually. And over here, see my build 9. Missing compliance. So I'm just going to check off that we're not using HTTPS right now for any internal calls. Starting testing. So now this build is now available for a QA or anyone who needs to test the app to pick it up from test flight. That's about it. Thank you very much. And like this video if it's helped you out. Thanks.